Hello, everybody. This is senior reporter Brad Johnson here at the Texan. I'm here with Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick.
Yeah.
Governor, welcome.
Well, hey, can I just say, great to be with you. Can I just say what a great job Connie Burton has done with the Texans?
It's great. She's done a very good job.
You know, she served in the Senate for one term. We were friends before that through the grassroots group that I put together at the Capitol, and we got to be friends before. And then during, you know, she's always upbeat. She's always making people happy. Everyone loved her on the floor. And when she started this, I thought, okay, you know, this is a hard thing to do. You all have great reporters. You do great work. And I just want to, Connie, you've done a great job. You've hired really good people. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate
Now you
that.
have to ask me easy questions.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
There we go. Well,
I
I don't know about easy, but here we go. So, state of the primary. You know, Tuesday's the big day.
Yes.
You got involved in a lot of races, House races especially.
Yes.
One big one in particular, the Speaker's race.
Yeah.
How do you think it's going to shake out?
So, I'm never ever, no matter what the polling shows, I never say what the outcome is going to be, because in any race, particularly in a runoff where turnout is very light, anything can happen. So the polls can be off by 3 or 4 points based on the turnout, up or down. But I feel very good about it. David Covey is a great campaigner. Look, this isn't personal. Dave Phelan is just a failed leader, and he allows the Democrats to run the House. The difference, Brad, between the Senate and the House is simple. I don't pass any bills out of the Senate that do not have at least 65 to 75% support from Republicans. In the House, they will pass out bills that have 20%. There'll be 20 out of 85 Republicans vote for it, but every Democrat, he passes the bill over to us. I immediately throw it in the trash can. We're not a Democrat majority state, and you can't let the House be run by Democrats, and that's what he has done, and he's killed so many bills over and over, good conservative bills, but we keep sending them because in the Senate, we changed the rules to benefit us. The people work too hard to elect us. Are we supposed to come home and say, well, you know, the rules stopped us from passing the legislation you wanted? Every priority the party wants, we pass in the Senate. Every big issue, we pass in the Senate, and a lot of them go over there to die or take 4 to 6 years to pass. So that's why I'm in that race, and I think it looks very good for David Covey, but we have to run through the tape. By the way, it's interesting. The average turnout on the other House races is only about 4%. I mean, very light. And we have great, you know, the President and I have endorsed Helen Kerwin. We've endorsed Alan Schoolcraft. We've endorsed Brent Hagenbuch in the Senate, and we've endorsed David Covey. Plus, I've endorsed Cheryl Bean, Ben Bias, and Katrina Pearson. So I think we have a chance to win a lot of races Tuesday night. But turnout's low. We got to get the voters out.
If things shake out the way you hope, what message do you think that sends?
Well, I think the message has already been sent. You had 9 members retire from the House. They didn't want to face the music because they knew they were going to lose. Some people who brought the impeachment and others who voted against school choice. So 9 quit. We defeated 9 on March 5th, and most of these were leaders and chairmen. I mean, important positions. And then the runoffs, I can't remember if there's 8 or 9. I think we'll win 80% of them, maybe 90%, maybe 100%. But we'll have 25 to 27 new House members next session, a new speaker. No matter what happens, I don't think, even if Dade pulls this out, I don't think he can be elected speaker again. I don't think that will happen. But you add those 26, Brad, to the 19 who voted against impeachment, which means they were really brave and courageous because they went against the speaker. So you had 19 to, let's call it 26 new members. Now you're at 45, you're at 50% of the caucus. And now, and some of these other people may get a little bit of religion about the voters are now paying attention. The voters are paying attention to how they vote in the House from now on.
If the Speaker makes it out of his primary and he manages to keep the gavel, what do you think that entails for next session going forward?
I'm not even going to speculate on that just because I don't think he's going to get there. He might. We'll deal with that when it happens. But look, I'm not going to put up with his nonsense anymore. I'm tired of him killing bills over and over. You know, taxpayer-funded lobbying, we've passed it so many times. I've passed school choice 5 times. You know, we passed a good drag queen bill that didn't pass. They always pass something watered down. We passed a bill to put the 10 Commandments back in our schools. He killed that bill. I can go, we passed a bill. I mean, the list is so long that he kills over there because he lets the Democrats be in charge. One of the biggest bills is most important. We passed a bill 2 sessions in a row to keep people who've been arrested and charged with murder that they can't get bail, or a child sex offender or a rapist. They've killed that bill twice. So there are murderers, child sex offenders, and rapists out on the street because of the Speaker.
The other big race that you're in is involved in is SD30.
Yes, SD,
in your
Drew
chamber.
Springer seat.
Yep.
President Trump, the governor, myself, Sid Miller, Don Huffines, Bob Hall, countless people have endorsed Brent Hagenbuch. Jay Sherborough is in the race. Look, here's what I've told everyone. Everyone knows both sides stand. Whoever wins, I treat every senator coming in with respect. I do. It concerns me, to be candid, that Mr. Yarborough, and I haven't said a word about this at the convention, but it concerns me when he says he doesn't support universal school choice. That's the bill. What do you mean you don't support it? That's the reason for much of these elections. And then he said he doesn't support busing illegal immigrants to blue states. And he wants to raise the sales tax to 23 cents. He says he's open to that.
Yeah.
So for people watching, and there's one election day left. I don't know if this airs before election day. I'm sure Jason's a fine guy. I don't know him. I've had a little interaction with him. But if the people, if they know that you're going to be against school choice, I mean, if he's campaigning on that, that means when the bill comes to the floor, he may not vote for school choice and he could kill it. That means he's willing to vote to increase the sales tax by a multiple of 3, and that means he's against the governor's busing plan. So I don't understand how anyone would want to vote for someone who's against what they really believe in. But we'll see what the voters, and whatever they decide, if Jace wins, if Brent wins, whoever wins, I treat everyone the same with great respect to help them succeed.
You mentioned the top level endorsements that Hagenbuch has. There, we saw applause, standing ovation for Yarborough in the SD caucus, SD 30 to this morning. What do you make of this kind of general framing that we've seen suggested that it's big time endorsements against the grassroots?
It's not big time endorsements. Brent Hagenbuch is the better candidate, period. Look, the president, Governor Abbott today, right now, or in an hour, is doing a rally with about 300 or 400 people for Brent Hagenbuch. The governor's in the race. Why? This is based on policy. You got to take the personalities out of it. Brent Hagenbuch supports universal school choice. Brent Hagenbuch supports busing illegal immigrants to other states. Brent Hagenbuch does not support raising the sales tax to 23 cents. This isn't personalities. Jason, look, the easiest question in the world in Collin County in a forum is, do you support the president busing? I can't even believe they asked the question. And Brent Hagenbuch said yes, and J.C. Yarborough said no. Like, that's nullification right there. That is the most popular, most important thing we've done to spread it around the country. So look, Jace has his supporters, Brent has his supporters, and let me tell you what, Jace wishes he had the president's endorsement or the governor's endorsement or my endorsement.
Does.
Yeah, everybody does. And look, it's not personal. Here's the deal. Jace got in the race on the last day. Brent had already been out there for 2 weeks. All those endorsements were already in line. The president came on a little after, but the governor, myself, Sid Miller, Huff, all those endorsements were in line. So he knew what it was when he got in the race. So look, I'm sure he's a fine guy. If he wins, we'll work with him. But Brent Hagenbuch is a Naval Academy grad. He's 62 years old. He's a businessman. He's a rock solid conservative. So we think he's the best candidate, and that's why we endorsed him. And again, Jace came in the last day and said, squeezing it the last, I'm going to run too. So, which is his right, but the endorsements were already, most of them had already been set.
I want to ask you one more thing about interim charges. Property taxes, big issue you guys passed. The largest property tax cut in a long time. What's the path going forward? This is not going away as an issue. Yeah, so we have cut, and people can look at their bills, and look, I've been fighting since 2003, 4 years before I was elected to the Senate, before I even knew I'd run for office. So I've always, excuse my allergies, I've always been pushing to lower property taxes because people just can't afford them to go up and up and up. So in 19, which a lot of people still don't realize, we broke the back on the appraisals. So virtually, there's always an exception in a state this big with millions of people. Your appraisal doesn't matter anymore. In fact, you want the value to go up so you sell your house for more than you bought it for, but you don't want to be taxed on that value. So in 19, we stopped that, but no one noticed because COVID hit and it was suspended for a couple of years. So now, if your appraisal goes up, what we did is we put the limit on cities and counties. They can't raise their budget more than 3.5%. So as the values goes up, they have to drop the tax rate because the ultimate tax you pay is the tax rate along with the value. And so they can't grow their budgets any more than 3.5%. So I looked at, if you look at your property tax bill, look at your appraisals last spring, look at or this past spring, look at them last year and see what the tax bill was. On average, with our bill last session, we cut school property taxes by 41% for every homeowner. And we're going to continue. We love, and you know we stood term for the homestead exemption. So everyone, when I came into office, the homestead exemption was $15,000. It's been that way forever. I raised it to 25 in my first session in 15. Then we took it to 40 in 21, and we took it to 100 and 110 for seniors. That's $100,000 locked into the Constitution. The people voted for it, that they can never be taxed on again. So if you live in a $300,000 house, you're paying school taxes on a $200,000 house. Plus, we limited the growth of the local district. So, but we have to keep doing it. So every session, we can't go from 40 to 100,000 every session, but if we just incrementally keep it going,
we need to reduce our property tax the best we can. I know we're out of time, but
there is a small appraisal cap, limited appraisal cap in the bill that you guys passed. How do you think that's going to play out?
So we put that in there because if you don't homestead your property, you have a second home like a lot of people do, or you have a business property, a commercial property, that can go up and up and up. So we put a trigger in there that if anything, and it's mostly commercial property that would impact over 20 million. It can't go up any more than 20%, not 20 million. It can't go up any more than 20% on a business property. Yeah. If it does, there's a circuit breaker. We'll see how that works.
Okay.
Hey, Brent, thank you.
Well, Governor, thank you for joining us.
All right,
today.
Thank you. Great job as always.
Thanks.